what I've observed with human beings is we don't take action that we know that is good for us unless something painful pushes us. So pain is a good way is a motivator, unfortunately. And my invitation for you is to don't wait for further wake-up calls, especially those of you who are kind of guests, to just jump in to this process. Trust, show up, keep showing up, commit to the process. Join our Cycle Breakers community if you feel safe in this container and this is resonating and landing for you. Make this your home. And because there's a lot of information out there, it gets really overwhelming, and I see it. Like, you can have like 1 billion YouTube videos and watch them, but it gets overwhelming. But to have the trainings pinpointed in a specific way, what we do here is I take you through a journey on every call, and it's very intentional. So to be guided, drown out the noise and choose a guide in a community that will really help you pinpoint the direction, and your healing will go way faster than trying to piecemeal it all together by yourself. But here are the wake-up calls. Your relationship gets stuck. Chronic health issues are a really good wake-up call. The body is your unconscious mind, because what we're dealing with here is to make the unconscious conscious, and your body is your unconscious mind. So most of the things, the anger, the betrayal, the hurts that we've been pushing away, they'll show up as chronic issues. And you'll go get pills, and going to different doctors, it's a good distraction from dealing with the real issue, isn't it? Right? So most people will go to many doctors, and many patients would come to me with fibromyalgia, chronic health issue, chronic fatigue, Lyme disease, being frustrated, chronic depression, chronic anxiety. Why am I not getting better? Well, it's because it's waking you up to something deeper. Workplace crisis. Many of you had, a disconnection from purpose. This is what people will message me on. Why are you here? Well, I just don't know. Look, I'm just doing this for so long, and it's got to be more to life. Something's missing here, and I don't know what it is, right? Co-dependency is another wake-up call. You realize, shit, I'm an intelligent person. Why do I tolerate that kind of a relationship where I wouldn't want that kind of person to my own child? There's no way that I would, why, right? Not feeling worthy, not feeling valuable. The answer, here it is. The real reason why we're here is there's a word called enmeshment. I want you to really get to know this word. What is enmeshment? Well, if you look at the word mesh, it's like a net. It's this entanglement between our emotions and the other person outside of us. Have you ever experienced that experience where there is no boundary between you and the other person's emotions? If they're sad, you're sad. If they're happy, you're happy. Most mothers are this way with their children, by the way. I'm watching my wife with Dominic, and like after I'll do a session or whatever, I go back there. How's it going? And she's crying. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, he's just been tantruming and it's been terrible. I'm like, yeah, that's enmeshment. It's embedded in motherhood. This is why mothers, being a mom is like 10 times harder, because it's embedded in your body. They're literally, the child is a part of you. So moms, your work is extra hard to break free from that. It makes it 10 times more difficult for us. And enmeshment is the tendency of not having a boundary, an emotional boundary between us and the other person. And that other person can be a client. You can be enmeshed with your client. You can be enmeshed with your friend. You can be enmeshed with your children. You can be enmeshed with the whole world. People with these personality, with severe trauma and getting personality disorders, they call it disorders. I just call them responses. Like, for example, borderline personality disorder. The experience is like walking through the world without a skin. There's no skin. You don't have any separation between the inner and outer world. One of my clients was like, I feel like a jellyfish. I don't know what to think. I think of myself, whatever the other person thinks of me. How many of you guys are getting what I'm saying? Enmeshment is why your relationships don't feel secure. Enmeshment is why you don't feel safe speaking up and telling what your truth is. Enmeshment is why you can't handle feedback. Enmeshment is why you don't feel safe giving feedback. And that's the root cause of why you get sick. You know, sometimes enmeshment will happen. Because of enmeshment, you'll get sick as a way of, I feel disconnected. I'm just going to get sick and then get their love. It's so fucked up. This is so subtle. And there's a lot of work it takes to rebuild this definition. If this is playing in the background, it's impossible to have a healthy relationship. Think about it. You've been trying to have relationships with people with this playing in the background unconsciously. How's that been working for you? It didn't work for me. And so the only way and the key to healing this is a cycle. Enmeshment is a form of trauma, is a developmental trauma that's not going anywhere tomorrow. You know, that you could be in your late 50s and 60s. Your parents can be gone and you're still enmeshed with what are they gonna think about you? Show of hands, how many know what I'm talking about? So how do we heal this? I remember I'm like, I can't date that person. I can't introduce them to my parents because they're not gonna approve. And then if they can't approve, then I can't approve of myself. When I realized this after my last relationship, I was like, I gotta heal this. My life is at stake. I can't have a healthy relationship with anyone if I have this going on. And now, although it's not my fault, I didn't know that this was happening. I was very angry with my parents, but I did something that I don't recommend anybody do here. I moved back in with my parents. I was like, I'm gonna heal this. I'm gonna heal this. I'm gonna figure this out. And if I do, how will I know that I'm able to have a secure relationship with somebody and then be able to have boundaries? That's how I've been able to have a secure relationship, because now I don't let anything get in. I'm boundaried now where I wasn't. Does this make sense of how it is? So how do you do it? Well, this is the path. So all of our Cycle Breakers courses, this is what I teach. On every call, on every training, what I'm secretly doing is, number one, nervous system regulation. The second part of this journey of the path of being a cycle breaker is you have a list of grievances in your life. Mom, dad, ex-boyfriend, former boss, another boyfriend, mom, ex, your kid, whoever, and you're holding on to them, and it's kind of like having rocks in your backpack. And the third part of this is dancing with your dark passenger. So what happens when you put it all together? Well, with a healthy nervous system and an ability to regulate it, and you're not really stuck in the past, what happens to you? You start to feel more present. You're able to show up to your kids more present rather than a child. What happens when you're clear with your past and you're not so run by it, and you've learned how to have a backstage pass with that ego of yours? You're able to love yourself more. Guess what? You have understanding. This is the key.